kind of broke my heart a little bit. I feel like in the world that we're in, there's people that you're supposed to look up to. And so me and my homies were just having fun. We bought this car that we were going to give away, and we drifted it in a car parking lot. And it wasn't registered and wasn't insured, and we'd like spray painted it. Obviously, we're just kids kind of being dumb. But the cops just did not think it was funny at all. Like, they just looked at it as it was like the worst thing ever. We were the worst people ever. And we're talking to them, we're like asking them questions. We're just trying to have fun as they're like writing us all these tickets, getting ready to like impound our car. And one of them said, he's like, have fun getting 1,000 views for the rest of your life. People like that are the reason why people don't chase their dreams. And like, you hear someone that you look up to tell you that you can't do something, like a lot of the time you're gonna listen to them. And it's so sad that so many people don't want other people to chase their dreams. It took a while to kind of get past that, because not just that one experience, but there's so many people in my life that have looked down upon like what I wanted to do, like told me I couldn't do it, told me that I'll never make it there, I gotta get a real job. And so to finally be at that point
yeah.
where you're making a living off of it
So cool,
is an awesome experience.
What's your purpose in making all this content?
I got a couple. My biggest one, obviously, is to be able to provide for my future family. But I also just want to inspire people to chase their dreams and do what they love for the rest of their lives. And I want to show people that you can literally do anything you put your mind to.
Easton Simpson, welcome to the Rollercoaster, my brother.
Thank you.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Have you done a podcast before?
Yeah, I've done 2 this month. This is number 3.
Okay. How have they been?
They've been good.
Yeah.
A little bit nervous first 2 times, but I think I'm locked in now.
And now you're rolling?
Yep.
Okay, dude. So listen. For the audience, okay. A lot of people listen to this show because we tend to go real deep on traumas and insecurities, and we've almost become known for a lot of that. This episode, for those listening, is not going to be that. This is going to be a very different episode, okay? This episode, selfishly, for me, is one I'm very excited about because I'm not a big social media guy, but bro, when you see a talent like Easton, you just game recognizes game, and you're like, I need to meet this guy. So we're ripping it, okay? So to give you an idea of who Easton Simpson is, how old are you, 23?
22.
22 years old. For those listening, not watching, just good looking chap, long, beautiful hair. And he does, his social media is so funny that more than once I have cried watching his videos. Okay. And so we're going to get into all of that today. And this episode, just to preface, is just going to be a lot of fun. So I appreciate you being here.
Dude, I'm excited. Thank you for having me on.
How long have you been doing social media?
5 years.
Okay. And do you feel like an overnight success, or do you feel like that 5 years you put in just so much effort and energy to get to where you're at today?
Bro, it has been a grind. I did not see any bit of success or money for the first 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely would not say overnight, but it's been a lot of growth.
Do people seem to think it's an overnight success? Because seemingly, like in the last 6 months, you've just blown up, right?
Yeah. I feel like if you were to start watching my channel in the last like 5-6 months, they'd probably say, oh yeah, overnight.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah. And probably a lot of day ones, right, that have been riding with you since the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me about the evolution of your social media, right? One of the keys, I think, to getting the amount of traction that you have is probably just trying a lot of stuff.
So much stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about maybe the evolution. Like when you started 5 years ago, what was your idea for the channel?
So the first thing I ever did, it was YouTube. I was posting on Instagram, but kind of just like for myself. But the first time I tried to actually make content was I went to Lake Powell with all my homies, and we just vlogged. We kind of just filmed the whole entire trip.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to blow up on YouTube, just like doing fun stuff with all my friends.
Yeah.
So that was the first video we ever did.
And then what did you learn through doing that?
I learned that I had no idea how to tell a story. I just would point the camera and I just put it all in Premiere and I would export it.
Like no editing, just
yeah,
full on raw dogging vlog.
Yeah, but I also learned that it was like the most fun I've ever had in my whole entire life.
So these friends, Is this Brevin, Jackson, Dylan, Caden, these guys?
Yeah, all of those guys.
Okay. Do you still do stuff with these guys, or predominantly are you like more on your own now?
Yeah, we're all filming together. I got a YouTube channel called Gas Boys, and that's me, Brevin, Jackson, Ty, Dallin, and Gabe. And then every now and then I'll film with like a bunch of my other homies. But we got a bunch of people that all film together. It's a big group thing.
So you film together, right? But like, have any of these guys had the personal success on their personal channels that you have?
Not quite. I've had a couple homies that started blowing up and they're doing their own thing. Yeah. But as far as like where I am in my group right now, I don't think there's anyone else that's like trying to like do it on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. What's been like in your mind, the craziest prank that you've ever done on video?
The craziest prank. So this one was on my channel, but I was filming it for two of my friends. They're called Speedy and the G, Corey and Damon. And we went to BYU, so a very religious school where they pray before every single class. And they go in there and they start just like raising their hand and talking to the teacher. And my buddy Corey like raises his hand. He's like, I got an announcement. He's like, my sister's pregnant. And the teacher's like, oh, you're going to be an uncle. He's like, a dad, actually. And just in like the setting of BYU, it was just so hard to watch. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I don't think we've ever done anything that's like crazy. It's like, oh, I can't believe you did that. But just some stuff that's very cringe and like hard to watch.
There was one, I think, where you put laxatives in a water bottle.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I actually wasn't there for that one. That was all my homies.
Oh, that was just your boys that were filming?
Yep.
That's hilarious. Were you part of the one where they were throwing people out of a car?
No, that was also while I was gone.
So they do the crazy stuff when you're not there.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, dude. Okay, so your channel's obviously evolved, and I think one of the main things that you're known for is this mumbling, right? So describe to the audience what it is that you're doing in these videos where you're mumbling to people.
Okay. So most of them are just interviews, and there's a lot of prep work. I'll like go up to them, and before I even start mumbling, I'll just be like, what's your name? Like, where are you from? And I'll ask them like something like inspirational, but give some advice to the world. So they think it's just like a normal interview where they're like trying to like motivate the world. And then I'll start just like mumbling my words together, and I'll put one or two words in there so they can kind of like keep listening to what I'm saying. And then I just start speaking a whole bunch of gibberish, and then they're on camera, so they're like a little bit nervous, and they're trying to like pick up what I'm saying, and they don't want to be rude and be like, wait, what did you say? Like I didn't understand you. And so they just come up with their own answers, like what they think I said in their head, and you just get a bunch of hilarious reactions.
Where did this idea come from? Did you see somebody else do it, or did this just like,
I didn't. I remember in high school we took a trip, and I thought it was so funny. We were like in line for Chick-fil-A. And I thought it was so funny to be like, hey, so like if I'm gonna get a sandwich, like would you just like come over here? How like would you if I get one? Just because their face was like, wait, what the hell did you say? And so I would do it like off camera, and then I had the idea just to do it on camera one time, and it just popped, and people loved it, so I just kept going.
What's the most viral video that you've done around this mumbling?
I did it at UVU. Someone honestly wasn't that funny. I just did it to a couple college kids, and they just were answering what they thought I said, and
so they were just playing along.
Yeah.
But they were trying to be respectful, right?
Right. And eventually they figure it out. They're like, okay, he's not saying anything, so they're like, what? Like, oh, okay, and they start laughing. Yeah. And the fact that it's harmless, I think, is why people watch it, because it doesn't ruin someone's day, but it makes them laugh.
One of the things I've always thought about like these kind of channels is one of the things that makes it difficult is the more people that have seen your face, right? The harder it is to prank people.
Right.
Or like do what you do. Yeah. Right. So are you being recognized more often now, or are you still not to a place where it's like people know what you're doing when you approach them?
Yeah. In Utah County, it's kind of hard to film now, because every time I walk up to someone like, oh, you're the mumbling kid. So in Utah County, it's probably 3 out of 5 people will recognize me and know who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do? You just go to different places?
I'll just keep going. Eventually you'll find someone that doesn't have social media, but usually those are the kids that have the best reaction. So That's kind of funny.
How many of these, like, how many at-bats do you have to do before you get one great shot? Like, will you be out, like, for 5, 6, 8 hours interviewing people to get, like, the 1 or 2 great clips?
Yeah, it usually takes about, like, 3 or 4 hours, and I'll film 10, and I'll have one that's like, okay, that was funny.
Dude, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's a lot of effort. Like, you don't realize when you're watching a channel like that what it takes to capture that moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Because there's so much that goes into it, like trying to find the right person, like trying to set it up right, trying to get them to like actually have a good reaction. And like most of the time, like a lot of people are introverts, so you got to find someone that's funny and like they know how to talk. It is a grind to find the right person, but once you do, it's a banger.
All right. I want to show you a video.
I'm ready.
And I want you to describe how hard it was, bro, for you to get this shot. Okay.
Yeah.
You probably know which one I'm going to do, dude. Like, unreal that you were able to capture this. You know which one it is.
I know exactly which one it is.
All right. So I'm gonna put it on here too, okay?
Excuse me, bro. You could give advice to the world. What would you say? It's a hot dog?
The way you puts it back, bro.
Do you usually eat those? No. Can I see it? Yeah.
Is that a hot dog?
Where'd you get that? It's in my pocket. In your pocket? Yeah. Do you usually carry that around? No. Sure you don't want to bite? Rate out of 10. 8. Did you with the hot dog? You usually
Bro, this guy's the best.
You see him? What? Just like what you do with the hot dog? No. If you could, usually people over here are like, if people like you, usually kind of just like with hot dog, you come out. What? Just like people like you. Yeah. Anything wrong? Anything else? No. Thank you, bro.
Bro. Like, how? Just break that down, dude. What? How
many
do you get that?
How many tries do you think it took to get that video?
Okay, I think you're asking because it probably is less than I would think. But normally I'd be like, I don't know, like 20. Like you had to probably slip 20 hot dogs into something. Like how many was it?
Bro, we were filming for probably 4 or 5 hours, and it was so hard to get a hot dog into someone's pocket because everyone's like walking and like usually they're with someone, so someone's looking. And dude, I gave up. I was like, all right, guys, I'm going home. This video is probably not going to turn out. And as we're walking out of the mall, my homie's like, dude, he's just standing there with a pocket right there. And then I went and slipped it in. And he was the first person whose pocket I actually got a hot dog into. And then his reaction was so funny, bro. When he took a bite, it was hilarious. But I literally given up. So
for those who couldn't see the video on the camera, he's got like a pack of raw dogs, like raw hot dogs. Just like Oscar Mayer wiener hot dogs. And he just walks up to a guy and he slips it in his pocket. It was like his hoodie pocket.
Yeah.
And then he's like immediately goes to interview this guy. And the guy like puts his hand in his pocket and perfect timing pulls out this hot dog.
You can't make it up. Because in my head, I was like, how am I going to get him to put his hand in his pocket? Just did it immediately. I was like, gosh, bro, you cannot make that up. It was so perfect.
That's one of those that like, so my mom's a wildlife photographer.
Okay.
Right. And we're talking like National Geographic status, right? And to get the shot, sometimes these photographers will sit there for weeks, right? Literally, to wait for the perfect timing of the sun and the bear to come onto the ledge, and right, it's a whole thing. And so like that kind of video, dude, when you watch it and you know what it takes, it's like, bro, that had to have just been either A, scripted, or B, impossible.
Bro, so many people thought it was scripted. Like half the comments, I was like, can't make it up, bro.
And who cares? Like, who cares if they think it's scripted? Yeah. Like, it's
makes it kind of funnier,
bro. So funny. And that video now, like, I mean, how many times has that thing been viewed?
On Instagram, I think it's almost like 8 million.
How many?
8 million on Instagram. And I think it's like 3.5 million on TikTok.
Is that one of your biggest videos then?
On Instagram, it's my biggest video.
Bro, that is that's too good. Okay. I want to play another one for you.
Okay.
Describe what's happening in this video.
So I walked into Walgreens and we needed an SD card for our camera. And then this lady was like helping us out. She was so nice. And we had filmed that video before, but we kind of had to like tell the security guard to just like act surprised. I didn't tell him what was going to happen. Yeah. And it got 15 million views. And I wanted to do it again, but it was so hard to find the right person. And so as this lady's like taking us around the store, I like looked at my brother. I was like, yo, just turn on the camera real quick. And then as we were walking out, I was like, can I skate in here? And she's like, no, because if you slip. And then I like pretend to skate, and she just started cracking up laughing.
You have the other one with the security guard, right, where you pull out the tech deck?
Yeah.
Was that the other one that went huge? It's hilarious, dude. Do you ever wake up and you're just like, I don't want to do this today?
Yeah, today.
Today was one of those days?
Yeah.
For people that are, you know, aspiring creators, influencers, right? Is that what you call yourself? What do you call yourself?
Sometimes I say TikToker. Sometimes I say YouTuber. You can call me whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah. I just think it's
Creator.
Weird, dude. Creator's a good. I
Creator's
like
a good
that
one.
Right?
Yeah.
So for these aspiring creators that are out there, is your philosophy that part of the method to your madness is just day after day after day, just putting on your boots and going out there and turning on the camera? Like, is that part of the method of this madness?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's days where you just do not want to film anything. Sometimes there's days where you're filming like 10 videos, you're uploading them all, you're getting 0 views, and it is the hardest thing that you will ever do. But it is so worth it, and you just have to show up every single day.
Yeah. How much creative process goes into these videos? Are you sitting down with your crew? Like, describe start to finish what's required to get that hot dog video done that day, for example. Like, you wake up and describe what happens that day.
Okay. Well, for a YouTube video, we're like sitting down, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to film this, and we're edit it this way. This is going to be the title. And it's like 2-3 days of like getting like ideas ready, then filming, then editing, and then publishing it. But I'm not going to lie, for all of the TikToks that have done the best, it's just been me like out with my friends, and I'm like, yo, just turn on the camera, let's see if we can get something. Yeah. Really? And like I was at the store, I was like, let's just get some hot dogs, just put it in someone's pocket. And so honestly, the videos that do the best are just like what's happening in the moment.
Mm. So why focus on YouTube at all if the amount of effort required to get the eyeballs is so much more?
Yeah. That's actually why I switched from YouTube to TikTok, because I was putting hours and hours and hours into getting the right YouTube video, uploading it. Like, it would probably take me 10, 15 hours to edit YouTube video, and then getting a thumbnail and then uploading it, and then it gets 1,000 views. And I literally filmed one video on my phone, just like doing something funny, and it gets 15 million views. Yeah. And so I switched from YouTube to TikTok, and then TikTok started paying. And so honestly, I'm putting most of my effort into TikTok right now because it's the best way to market yourself.
So are you still doing YouTube at all?
Yeah, I am. I just barely signed with the team that's going to start editing all my videos. So that brings the effort way down. I just have to film. So
yeah, that's cool. Dude, how do you think about this from like a profession standpoint, right? Because like the world says, don't go do what you're doing, right? The world says, go to college, get a degree, get a job, a 9-to-5. And by the way, I think it's bullshit. And that was never my deal, right?
Yep.
But it's like the opposite to what the world says is like, don't be a YouTuber, TikToker. Yeah. Don't play video games.
Yeah.
But like now people are making a lot of money doing these things, right? So what's your plan? Like, do you want this to be your thing forever? For a long
absolutely.
Time? Okay.
Yeah.
So like you're all in.
Yeah. My whole life I've known I would not be happy unless I did what I love for the rest of my life. Yeah. So just the thought of getting a 9-to-5 or going to school for 4 years and getting a degree, getting in debt, just sounded horrible to me because it was not what I wanted to do.
Yeah. How much money are you making right now?
I just broke 5 figures. So we're slowly getting up there.
Yeah. 5 figures a year. A month.
Yeah. I didn't start getting paid until like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So,
So like
just this year.
A good month on TikTok, you can make a couple grand.
Yeah.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
definitely more than a couple grand.
If you start crushing, like, what's the goal? Like, is the goal, dude, I want to make $1 million a year doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, is that the goal?
My goal this year is to make 6 figures. I want to make at least 100,000. And then I want to start getting my YouTube. I want to start getting paid from that and getting big brand deals. And then I just dropped my clothing line, Simple. And then I got some other businesses in the works. So I'm trying to get my audience as big as possible.
Yeah.
So I can kind of just have a couple different brands that can function without the need for social media.
Yeah.
But it's easiest to get there with social media. So
that's cool, man.
Thank you to our sponsors over at Bucked Up. I love this company. I love their products, their apparel, and their supplements. Recently, they dropped the mother of all pre-workouts, Mother Bucker. This is not for the faint of heart. This will make you want to claw your face off. So don't get stuck in traffic when you're headed to the gym. I love these guys. I love this company, and I love their products. They are clearly the best tasting pre-workout on the entire market, and they're number one for a reason. Bucked Up is my favorite workout brand, hands down. And they also have my favorite apparel for working out and just for daily life. It's Lululemon-like quality, but for a fraction of the price that's affordable. So head over to their site, buckedup.com, where you can check it out. And for 20% off their entire site, use the code TylerHall20.
Which of those vehicles do you think become the greatest revenue producing vehicles? Is it the apparel line? Is it other potential consumer products that you might launch? Or is it being paid through the social media platforms?
yeah, in the long run, I think you're going to make most from clothing or your brand.
Yeah.
But for me, I've made the most just through other brands paying me to promote their products.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's an example of one that you've done, a brand deal?
Axe body spray.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I went and did that one a couple days ago.
How'd you get that deal?
They just reached out to me. They're like, yo, we'll give you this amount of money for one TikTok.
How much? Can you say?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say.
Give us an idea.
It's just under 10 grand.
For a single post.
Yeah, just one single TikTok.
But it's like, how much planning goes into that process now? Like, do you feel a lot of pressure that, okay, now I've got this brand and it's got to,
Yeah.
how do you make it feel totally organic?
Yeah. So I had this idea and I haven't posted the video and I don't know if I'm like supposed to say anything before I post it, but I had this.
This won't go live for 6 weeks.
Okay, perfect.
So you're good.
So I had this idea to go to the mall and like show people designer cologne versus Axe body spray.
Yeah.
And as I was going to buy the product, I just started filming me like picking it up and like spraying it and smelling it. And I just like started laughing and it just turned into a funny video. And that was the one that I decided to use because it was just so natural. It was just me like dicking around, having fun. And that was way better than like a setup video where I'm like trying to like actually promote a product. And that just shows like if you're just filming yourself having fun, like that's where you're going to get the banger videos.
That's cool. Can you, I want to see this. So is that Axe video on your TikTok right now?
Not yet. It's waiting to get approved. They like approve it. And then
Even just this one where you were spraying yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. So you think that brand deals long term will way overproduce from what the platforms will pay you?
Yeah. It depends on like so TikTok's only paying for videos over a minute. So if you can make content that's over a minute and you're consistently getting 1 million views, 2 million views, then you're going to be making a lot of money from TikTok itself. But if you can't make content over a minute, then other brands is where you're going to make the most money.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. One of the things that we're thinking about doing on the pod, I'd love to get your opinion on this is, so we have a few different sponsors where the title sponsor of our show is Bucked Up. You probably know.
Yeah.
Bucked Up. It's a Utah company. Those are my good buddies. Shout out Jeff and Ryan. And it's the best supplement company in the world. Shameless plug, right?
Yep.
And really it is. I've used it for all their products for 10 years. But we have other brands now that want to come on and do stuff. And sort of my criteria is I have to love the product.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to actually believe in whatever the thing is.
Right.
I'll never promote a product that I wouldn't personally use, right? But then B, it's like, how do you get these products organically infused into the conversation? So it doesn't feel like an ad.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're talking and I'm sharing that I happen to use a product and maybe you do too. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, do you subscribe to the idea that if you're going to do a brand deal, it should feel as organic and authentic as possible?
Yeah, absolutely. But to a certain extent, I feel like if you're a creator like me, who's like just starting to make money, like it's very important to have the funds to like continue doing what you're doing. So like in the beginning, I feel like just kind of take whatever comes at you because it's going to open up the door to more opportunities.
Yeah.
But if you're going to like represent a brand in the long term, absolutely you have to love it or you won't be able to share it organically.
Yeah.
And naturally.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The other thing too is like, I want to go back to, I mean, I don't want to underplay or downplay the fact that you started this thing 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you just ate shit for 4.5 of those years.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, is that what separates the top 1% of creators from everybody else? Is just
absolutely.
Their willingness to just eat shit forever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you can't take the shit that's going to come and you can't accept how hard it's going to be, you will never make it. I know so many kids that they get 1 hate comment, they get 2 hate comments. It's all they can think about. And they're like, yo, no one's going to like me. I don't want to keep going. But it's like, bro, like people are going to love you. And so once you can push past that and not give up, just like everything in life, like consistency is what's going to pay off.
Yeah. So if you had to like encourage that audience directly, right? Think of anybody who's in their first year of making content and you had a message for them, like on how to be successful doing this. Like, what would that be?
Do not give up. It'll probably be the hardest thing you ever do, but it's going to be so worth it.
Yeah.
And where consistency comes in, a lot of people think, oh, if I post the same video 1,000 times, eventually it's going to blow up. But the power in posting or making 1,000 videos isn't that the algorithm's going to reward you for posting 1,000 times. It's the fact that your 1,000th video is going to be 100 times better than your first video. Oh. And a lot of the times we think we're making the best content ever. We're like, yo, my mom loves this. My friends love this. I'm going to blow up. And then it gets 200 views.
Yeah.
But it's the power in getting better every single video, learning how to talk to a camera, learning how to interact with people. Like that's what gets better over time. And then eventually you're going to break through and people are going to start watching your videos.
Very well said. Very well said. Do you think you could teach the audience how to mumble? I think there's probably... Are you seeing more people do this kind of content, by the way?
Yeah. I was checking my phone before I came in here and I saw like 5 or 6 TikToks that got tagged in of people just mumbling to people. It's pretty funny. I love it.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, because if you're like the OG of mumbling, you like started the trend. It's really cool. Do you ever remember Andrew Hales, who started Loft?
His name sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Losing all hope was freedom. Do you remember this guy?
Okay.
I'm going to show you him, bro.
Yeah, I want to see.
So I went to high school with this guy. This guy's one of the OGs. I mean, I think the first one, maybe Vitaly and him were like started at the same time.
Okay.
You know Vitaly? You know Vitaly?
I definitely know that name too. What is it? Who is he?
I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Okay. This is Andrew Hales. Oh man. Andrew's really kind of, I don't want to say like lost his way, but.
Okay. Thank you.
You ever seen this guy?
I don't think I've seen this guy before.
Does like awkward handshakes.
Okay.
Do you know where the Wilk is?
So this was like, it was probably like 12, 13, 14 years ago.
Okay.
When he started on YouTube. Like his very first video that blew up, he went to UVU and he would just like, he was going to school there, he was in college there, and he would just walk the halls and like randomly go up behind like dudes, girls, anyone, and just hold their hand.
Okay.
Just like grab their hand.
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos.
So he was like the OG of this, man. And it was like, he had produced so much content, got to several million followers. And then for whatever reason, he's kind of like, I think he's kind of fallen off the map a little bit. But I think one of the most difficult things, but maybe one of the easier things, is just how do you come up with new ideas? everything's been done,
Mm-hmm.
right? So is it, hey, I follow other creators that do this type of content and I want to try to do it too? Or are you always trying to come up with like original ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good mix of both. A lot of videos have been done. And if you're trying to copy the creator who did that video and the video itself, I feel like it's always going to flop. Because if someone wants to watch a Mr. Beast video, they're going to watch a Mr. Beast video, not the person trying to be Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
But I've found that when you can just be yourself and take ideas and film them in your own way and film them being yourself and like put your own twist on it and your own personality on it, then it's always going to do way better than if you're trying to copy that person in general.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I know you've gotten into fitness a lot. You're wearing a big old hoodie, so I can't really tell if you're jacked or not, but I think you're, you're getting shredded. Tell me about your experience doing 75 hard. I watched some of your stuff around that.
Yep.
I've done it before. I think it's amazing. Tell me your experience going through that. Maybe for the audience, there may be people who don't know what that is. So maybe describe what it is and your experience going through that.
So 75 Hard is a mental strength program by Andy Frisella. And it's 2 workouts a day, 1 outside, 1 inside. They both have to be 45 minutes. A gallon of water a day, 10 pages of reading a self-help book every single day, a progress picture, and a diet that you can't, like no cheat meals, no alcohol, nothing. And so it's 75 days of that. And man, it changed my life.
Really?
It changed my life physically, mentally. It helped me set goals to like be more consistent as in like posting to social media. And once I started doing 75 hard is when I started posting to TikTok every single day. And that's when I had my first video click.
Really?
Because once I was like filming every day, I was like, oh, okay, I can get better here. I can get better here. And just 75 days of consistency in all areas of your life will improve everything about it, everything about you. And so it really did like change the way I look at social media. I look at my brain. I look at mental health, and it changed my life a lot.
Dude, that's awesome. Did you do it with anybody else?
I just did it by myself.
Just a lone wolf.
Yeah, I started with one of my homies, but he never finished.
So that tends to happen. 75 hard is difficult. By the way, I think I've probably started it 4 times and only finished it twice.
Okay.
Like fully right? Because
Yeah.
The other times I probably missed workouts in the evenings. I probably missed reading. I missed a gallon of water. But dude, the times where I've done it and I've been like disciplined about it, I totally agree. It changes a lot. If somebody wants to try it, how do they do it? They just Google 75 hard?
Yeah, if you Google 75 hard, there's just the checklist. I really like listening to Andy Frisella's podcast because he talks about what it does and why he created it. Yeah. And I feel like it gives it a little bit more meaning because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to do 75 hard, but I'm just not going to drink the gallon of water. I'm just not going to do 2 workouts. Like I don't have time. Yeah. I feel like you kind of miss the whole point when you do that. So if you listen to like why it's created and like what it's designed to do, then it will actually have an impact on your life.
Yeah. Bro, what's your purpose in making all this content?
I got a couple. My biggest one, obviously, is to be able to provide for my future family. But I also just want to inspire people to chase their dreams and do what they love for the rest of their lives. And I want to show people that you can literally do anything you put your mind to.
That's cool, man. Talk to me about that first one.
Yeah.
Are you dating somebody? Are you married?
Yeah, I got a girlfriend. We're not married yet, but I know in my life a family is very important. Yeah. And to me, I want to be able to spend as much time with my kids to help them become the best version of themselves, like when they are here. Yeah. And there's no better way to do that than if you have the freedom to be with them all the time and still be able to make a living. Yeah. Especially if you're doing what you love. Like if your kids see you like doing what you love, they're going to start doing what they love. They'll chase their dreams. I feel like it's just an important thing to know as a kid.
Totally, man. Do you feel like you had good role models in your life that taught you that?
Oh, absolutely. And my parents were the best.
How so?
They just always supported me. They just loved me. They kind of let me figure out life for myself. And they were just always there at the end of the day, just waiting for me. And their relationship, they just loved each other. And so there was a lot of love in the house. And I feel like that love just inspired me to like love myself, love what I do, love the people around me. And that just sets you up on a really good path.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. I know you've gone down a little bit of a, one thing we talk about a lot on the podcast is people's spiritual journeys.
Yeah,
You willing to open up and share a little bit more about sort of how you think about spirituality?
absolutely.
Yeah. Where are you at on that?
I would not be where I am today without the gospel. I turned to God.
What does the gospel mean, by the way, for
Yeah.
those listening?
The gospel of Jesus Christ is just basic Christianity. It's something that gives me purpose. It gives me an example to look forward to, and like loving myself and loving the people around me. And yeah.
What else, man? Keep going.
Yeah. Ask me some more questions.
You know, I think spirituality is a very broad and maybe misunderstood topic by a lot of people.
Yeah.
It can mean a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
So the religion that you and I grew up in is the LDS religion, the Mormon religion.
Yeah.
And you have a certain set of standards and even a certain set of guidelines or rules that we're required to adhere to maintain a certain level of worthiness, right? So there's like sort of that religion and other religions who have that, but then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is like general spirituality, which could be that the universe has this energy that is what makes everything work, which that would be the other end of the spectrum, right? So like, if you think about those spectrums, where do you fall?
Yeah.
Where are you at?
So I believe that I was created by a personal creator in heaven, and I know my purpose is to come here to reach my full potential and to go through hard things and learn from them and experience it. And I believe that the only way I can do that is through Jesus Christ.
Dang.
And so I love Jesus. I love God. I pray every single day, twice a day.
Really?
And I do my absolute best just to try and be like them, because like there's no better role models than someone who came here and just loved everyone, just healed people, was perfect, like just stood for like what's right. And I feel like that's just a very good thing to look up to.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. There was one thing as we sort of wrap here that I want to end with. In 2022, I think you were making a YouTube video, and there was a police officer in the video, and he basically told you, like, you should quit. You should never do this again. You're never going to make it on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You remember this?
Yep, I do.
What was that experience like for you?
Kind of broke my heart a little bit, because I feel like in the world that we're in, there's people that you're supposed to look up to and people that you're supposed to listen to.
Yeah.
And so me and my homies were just having fun, and we bought this car that we were going to give away, and we drifted it in a car parking lot, and it wasn't registered and it wasn't insured, and we'd like spray painted it. Obviously we're just kids kind of being dumb. But the cops just did not think it was funny at all. Like they just looked at it as it was like the worst thing ever. We were the worst people ever. And they didn't even smile one time. And we're talking to them, we're like asking them questions. We're just trying to have fun as they're like writing us all these tickets, getting ready to like impound our car. And one of them was like, I don't remember exactly what he said. And he didn't say it to me. He said it to my buddy Jackson. And he's like, have fun getting 1,000 views for the rest of your life or something like that.
Oh.
And it was like so sad, because like people like that are the reason why people don't chase their dreams. And like you hear someone that you look up to tell you that you can't do something, like a lot of the time you're going to listen to them. And it's so sad that so many people don't want other people to chase their dreams.
Yeah.
And it took a while to kind of get past that, because not just that one experience, but there's so many people in my life that have looked down upon like what I wanted to do, like told me I couldn't do it, told me that I'll never make it there, I got to get a real job. And so to finally be at that point
Yeah.
where you're making a living off of it
So cool,
is an
bro.
awesome experience.
Oh, it's the best, man. I mean, I think there's all kinds of external motivation that we can hold on to. And sometimes the motivation is very positive, and it's people that are cheering us on and that believe in us. And I know you have a lot of those people in your life, but there's typically a lot more who don't believe in you.
Yeah.
Right. Who
Yeah.
tell you, yeah, you know, good luck being a loser for the rest of your life, basically. Right. You know, how do you deal with hate, dude, on social media? Because the bigger that you get, bro, like, go read any of the comment sections.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
of my stuff, any of your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the stuff is not positive, right?
Yeah.
Do you ignore it completely? Do you read it? Do you laugh about it? Like, how do you deal with that?
But I started responding to all the comments, not all of them, but just like some of the ones that I see. And I'll just like say something nice to them. And then I'll always go to their profile and I'll go to one of their posts and I'll like comment something like just really positive. And they always switch up so fast. They're like, yo, like your videos are actually awesome. Like, thank you so much. And it's so funny because
Really?
it shows you like where people really are. Because a lot of people that are hating on other people, like, I don't want to say they're jealous, but a lot of the time, like, it brings out insecurities of the fact that they didn't chase their dream, and they say other people like making a living off of their dream. Yeah. So obviously, like, some of those emotions are going to come out, but it's kind of funny to watch people switch up once you are like super nice to them.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Actually, I love that.
Yeah.
You should do a post about that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That'd be funny. Just responding to negative comments.
Yeah. Like show that process, dude. Like, that's the ultimate level of positivity, is like somebody's tearing you down and you just like smother them with love.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's really cool.
Do you get a lot of people that like discourage like your podcast and like don't love what you do?
I don't think it's discouraging what I do. I think it's typically it's very nitpicky on whatever message is being highlighted.
Yeah, the
right?
content.
So like, I'll give you a couple of examples that I just think are hilarious. Like, you know, one of them is a video that's been viewed, I don't know. I think it's the biggest video I've ever done. I think. I don't really track the metrics super closely, but it has about 20 million views across TikTok and Instagram. And it's a video. It's actually me sitting in that chair, or sitting in this chair,
okay,
being interviewed by Jimmy Rex, my buddy, on his podcast. And it's me talking about an experience where it's sold my software business. And shortly after, my wife almost passed away. And it's this incredibly hard experience to talk about. I'm emotional in the video. I'm talking about basically the fact that I realized in that moment that almost nothing else in our life matters except the depth and the meaning of our relationships. Very positive message, right? and then to see this thing start skyrocketing, and to see the number of views and comments, and I just expected, this was my first like viral video, right? I just expected like, oh, it's going to be awesome to see all these people motivated and encouraged, and to see people be like, easy for you to say, rich guy, you know, like, if you didn't have money, you probably wouldn't have reacted that way. You wouldn't even be saying this. And like all the negative hate, it was just like, dude, that's crazy, right? And then, you know, another video recently that we had, I had a guy on my show named Justin Prince. And I'll show you this video.
Okay.
Because I think I want to get your like genuine first reaction to this video. Okay. So.
And there was a young kid that was pushing the sled. This kid's 14 years old. I saw one of the other guys at the gym talking to him, and it's his dad. I go, what schools does your son go to? He goes, well, he's not going to school today. You know, he got in trouble at school, and so he's suspended. So he's pushing the sled. His dad said to him, he goes, I want you to push it there, and push it back, and push it there, and push it back until I come back. So I finished my workout. I was about to walk out the door, and I said, you know, I'm going to turn around, go talk to him. I said, hey, so what's up? I said, hey, listen, dude. I said, your dad told me that you're in trouble right now. I said, I don't know what you did. I said, honestly, I don't care. Let me just tell you this, though. You are not what you did. You are what you repeatedly do. So we all make mistakes, dude. We all do stupid stuff. When I was your age, I did a bunch of stupid stuff too. You want to create your future with your future, not your past. What most people do is we create our future from our past mistakes, past failures, past doubts, past pains. Success is an identity process. So if you think you're a loser, you're not going to show up and play like a winner. If you think you're a winner, you're not going to roll over and quit like a loser. James Clear wrote the book Atomic Habits, and he says, there's two boys, one of which stole the candy, and they said to the child, they said, did you steal the candy? The little boy said, I didn't steal the candy. The other little boy, did you steal the candy? The little boy said, I don't steal. So I don't steal is an identity, where I didn't steal that particular piece of candy is an action. Yeah. I was at the gym the other day.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel, well, one, just listening to people talk about their experiences like in a positive way and how it impacted them, it just gives me like a lot of hope for social media because there's so much negativity out there.
Yeah.
And there's so much content that drags people down and is just trying to entertain. But seeing that there's people out there actually impacting the way other people live their lives is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Like that feels positive, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you feel good watching that.
Oh, so good.
Bro, like you want me to read you some of the top comments on this?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay.
I was
Like,
at the gym the other day, and
by the way, like this video for this type of video, like an interview style, it's massive. 5.6 million views, 250,000 likes. It's been shared 150,000.
Yeah.
Like just a massive video, right? Okay, the top comment, which I pinned, okay, Justin didn't know who that kid or that man was in the gym, but it's in his city in St. George, right? The mother ends up seeing this video and she comments, the mother of this boy. She says, as the parent of the child in this story, my husband doesn't do social media. I approve this message. My son did get in trouble and we appreciate Justin Prince sharing some life knowledge with our son. Our son actually mentioned this to his dad and he thought it was good advice. Too bad the comments took the turn that they did. We are grateful for good people helping us raise our children into adults. And heaven knows that teens sometimes need someone other than their parent to help them out.
Yeah.
Okay. And the only reason she wrote this is because of the other comments, right? So the majority of the comments, man, are, I actually have to scroll quite far. This makes me proud. Like the majority of the ones are actually positive, but
That's cool.
But the reason this video went viral is because of the negativity, because of the negative comments that were in there, right? So
It is crazy to see like how many people, like I know you haven't pulled up the comments yet, but so many people that just comment something negative on someone else's post. It's just kind of crazy to me. But like that's one thing that you have to understand as someone like who makes content. Like not everyone's going to resonate with your content. Not everyone's going to love what you do. Some people are just going to be angry. But inspiring one person to live a better life is so much more meaningful than one person who doesn't like the video that you made.
100%. Anyway, it's actually cool that I'm still scrolling here and I can't see, but like some of the most liked, it's the other thing that's like disturbing is, right, you see the comments, but then you see how many people like them, like endorse these negative comments, just pouring into the hate, right? So it's like the comments that you're seeing on that video, which basically, you know, Justin pouring into a 14-year-old boy that was at the gym that was in trouble and telling him that, you know, you are not what you did, you are what you repeatedly do. Yeah. Like this is such a great advice for life, right? And so many people being like, I can't believe you'd ever talk to another man's child and like embarrass the man like that. You know, leave the kids alone. You have no right to do that. That's creepy. You know, look at you, made up story. People saying like that. There's no way that happened. That's got to be fake. And it's like, dude, like, come on, people.
The crazy part about social media is how many people there are in the world all looking at the same video. And one person could have just came off the best day of their life and like, this is such good advice. Yeah. And then another person could have just went through a really bad argument with their son. And then they see that video and they're like, oh, stay away from other people's kids. Yeah. And so it's crazy how like different experiences that we have are going to affect the way that we look at content. And you have to understand that when you put out a video, you got to understand that people that are watching your videos are not going to be going through the same things that you're going through. Yeah. And so they're going to view it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And so you just have to not let any of those comments get to your head, because when you see the good comments of like, oh, this made my day, this changed the way I look at this was I love this video. Like that's always way more important than all of those hate comments.
Here's what I love the most about what you do when you see negative comments. I encourage you to keep doing this, man, by the way, because if somebody writes some hate on your page, does that hate have anything to do with you?
No, not at all.
Zero. Right? There's a book that's called The Four Agreements. Are you familiar with this book?
I'm not.
I'm going to get it for you.
Okay.
It's a short read, 100 and change. pages. And one of the 4 agreements is to not take anything personally. And the principle behind this is that when people throw stones, when people choose to try to tear you down or say negative things, it actually has nothing to do with you. And it has everything to do with their traumas and their insecurities and their life and the things that they're going through. And it's their way to feel better about themselves, to cast some hate, right? So when you recognize that, dude, and you actually don't take it personally at all, and you take it to the next step, which is like, no, dude, I feel bad for this person. I'm going to like pour into him. Like, bro, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's so awesome.
And then to see them like flip
Yeah.
and be like your ally.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. It's
Like that's when you know, if you can get someone to like flip like that, you know that it's not you that they're hating on. It's just what they're going through.
yeah.
And it's so sad that so many people they have this dream and they're trying to create something, and they'll let those 1, 2, or 3 comments just get to their head and literally change the trajectory of their whole entire life.
Yeah, totally. Love that message, bro. Dude, this was a lot of fun. I totally support and endorse everything you're doing. I think it's amazing. I'm really proud of you, man.
Appreciate
Happy
it.
for you.
Appreciate
I think it's, I love just seeing you blow up, and I'm really happy that we could sit down and listen to your story today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Can I ask you one question before we end it off?
Please.
I know you're probably thinking it was like more of like a funny conversation, but I'm curious to know like your thoughts. If like what have you gone through as far as like mental health, and how has social media affected that?
Oh man, I appreciate you asking the question.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think I was the most scared of when I launched the podcast a year ago, because before that I wasn't on social media like at all. And the reason that I wasn't on it is because the majority of the stuff is just not good stuff that's on social media. And so it was a big leap for me I could have just coasted away and hid in a closet, like nobody, I lived my life like sort of not wanting people to know what I was up to.
Mm-hmm.
I just enjoyed that better, right? Took a leap of faith, started coming on social media. Well, now because I'm a creator, now because I create so much content, I find myself on there more consuming content more than I did before. And brother, the stuff that is out there is it's just terrible. It's just terrible. And I probably once a month, I go through that same realization, these cycles of like, why am I consuming this content? The majority of this stuff it's not benefiting me in any way at all. Zero. And I'll share that with my audience, and I'll share that, you've got to be really careful about how much time you spend on your phone and what kinds of content that you consume and these sort of things. I would say that social media has to be the number one catalyst for the mental health epidemic that we're going through today. 100%.
Oh yeah.
And the thing that I'm trying to do, which I'm playing one small part, is to put such positivity and such love into the world to help combat and offset the negativity. And I've just been a lot more thoughtful about who I follow and what I'm willing to let inside my head, because I know that if I only let good stuff in, it's going to help me fight these mental health challenges that we all go through.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
It's fire.
What about you?
I found myself as a kid. It's crazy growing up in a world where like these kids have smartphones and they're scrolling on TikTok like 5-6 hours a day. But even as a kid, I remember I would like look at these like big creators, and I would always compare myself to them. And I'd be like, oh, dude, like I'm not as good as basketball as these kids, or I don't have as many followers. And I grew up constantly comparing myself to what I saw on social media.
Yeah.
And what you don't realize is that all these people that are putting content out there, they're putting out the best version of themselves. They're putting out the highlights, and they're cutting out like what they're going through, but everyone is going through something. And in my head, like I didn't piece that together. And I just thought everyone had like this perfect life, and I was just like the only one like struggling or comparing myself. And I think sometimes we get so caught up and what we see on social media that we forget to live our own lives and be present. And my whole dream and the whole reason I want to do social media is so that I can show people that there's more to life than just comparing yourself to people and getting sad about what you see on social media. And I think it's so important to be real and to be honest and to be positive and to make people smile. And that's why it's kind of fun talking about like the negative comments versus the positive comments. Because social media can give you really bad anxiety. It can make your depression worse. It can put you in a place where you're constantly comparing, but it can also be a place where you inspire someone to completely change the way that they look at life. And it can be a place where you inspire people to chase their dreams. And there's so much bad, but there's also so much good. And I just really want to be a part of that good. And yeah, like making like pranks is funny, like making vlogs is funny. But at the end of the day, like you said, like relationships is like the most important thing in our whole entire lives. And if you can use that to strengthen your relationships, then you are going to be in a much better spot and you're going to be a lot happier.
Amen, brother. I love you. Thank you for coming on.
Dude, thank you.
Okay, that's a wrap.